What's up guys, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about the Canada Food Guide. Canada has just come out with a new food guide for 2019 and it is definitely striking up a lot of debate and a lot of conversation, which is awesome. But part of the reason that I wanted to make this video is because I think that society as a whole struggles with interpreting information. There's been a lot of backlash about the Canadian Food Guide, the new edition, from industries that this new food guide is going to affect negatively. So if you haven't seen the food guide yet, it's basically focusing more on plant-based meals. There's an emphasis on plant-based protein compared to animal protein. 3/4 of your plate, Canada is saying, should be filled with fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. This is all awesome stuff. The first kind of like backlash that I saw, I wouldn't even call it backlash, it was very civil and like realistic, and I can understand the viewpoint that they're coming from, and it's Beef Farmers of Canada. In this statement, the Beef Farmers of Canada stated that beef farming in Canada only accounts for 2.5% of Canada's greenhouse gas emissions. So the key there is the difference between Canada and globally. So 2.5% of Canada's greenhouse gas emissions, that's great, except for the fact that Canada only produces 1.88% of the world's beef. So everyone in the world eating beef, less than 2% of that is actually coming from Canada. So I would hope that a very small percentage of Canada's greenhouse gas emissions is coming from the beef industry, because we're not really giving the world that much beef. If you look at a global scale, animal agriculture is responsible for 24% of greenhouse gas emissions globally. So that's one thing that if you read that stat, it's very easy to say, beef's not bad for the environment, why should I care? It's irrelevant in the scale of what Canada is producing globally in the beef industry. So if you say, well Liz, I buy locally, I buy organic, I buy grass-fed beef, so I am doing a solid for the environment, I'm doing a solid for the Canadian beef industry, I am totally fine, I am free to eat beef and feel guilt-free. Okay, so there are definitely some concerns with that as well. So according to 2018 Statistics Canada, Canadians ate 58 pounds of beef per year per person, on average, 58 pounds. So considering that there are 37 million people living in Canada, that equates to 2,153,400,000 pounds of beef consumed by Canadians in 2018. Okay, billion, 2 billion, that's a lot. To produce this much beef, we would need 5 million cows. Canadian farmer societies also say, like they have said, that to raise one cow takes about 1.8 acres of land. So we have 5 million cows, 1.8 acres per cow. We need about 9 million acres of grassland in Canada to have all the cows roaming that we would need to feed Canadians if everyone in Canada today decided that they wanted to eat local, organic, grass-fed beef. Okay, fair enough. We only need 9 million acres, that's fine. Here's the problem. Only 4.7% of Canada's farmland is arable, which means that it is available for grass or pasture land or grazing. 4.7% of Canada's existing farmland right now. So 4.7% of Canada's land being available to potentially raise grass-fed cows, that's great. Except that we just said that we need 9 million acres to raise enough cows for Canadians to eat, if we eat the same amount that we did in 2018. So we need 9 million, we have 4.4 million. Does it make sense that Canadians, if everyone bought local and organic and grass-fed, does it make sense that we would be able to feed our country? The other thing that I just want to quickly point out with regards to like environmental sustainability and beef or animal livestock production in general, I don't think it's realistic either to only look at greenhouse gas emissions, because there are so many other environmental standpoints to consider, like wastewater runoff. Where is all this manure going? Where is all the water going? Where is all the blood going when we slaughter these animals? Even if the greenhouse gas effect was not as prominent or as dangerous as it is, there are still so many other reasons why eating beef is not good for the environment. The final thing I'll talk about that's really interesting about the way that Canada creates its food guide is that Canada actually like releases like information online about how they got to their food guide, like what they included in their considerations. And they specifically made a statement saying, we will not be meeting with food and beverage industries while we are making our Canadian food guide for 2019. They explicitly stated that, which suggests that maybe in 2007 that was not the case. That's fine. That was 12 years ago, so at least we are moving forward. But I just want to like kind of point out that industry has so much more influence than we think. You can look at any study. Like I said at the beginning of this video, you can go and Google, meat is good for you. Why is beef healthy? And you will find scholarly articles that support that claim. The key is that those scholarly articles are funded by industries. Like they are funded by the egg industry or the beef industry or the dairy industry. And you can see that information right in the article info. Like you can click a link that says, some of the articles even say, bias, was there any bias? And then sometimes they'll say, yes, this was funded by the beef industry. But most people are not going to look at that. They're just going to look at the abstract or the results and say, my point is proven. I'm going to eat all the meat I want because it's healthy, because I Googled it. At the end of the day, I totally see where different industries are coming from. Like if I had a beef farm, I'd be scared too that Canada is telling people stop eating red meat. Like that's scary and that's hard. But if any country can kind of come together and figure out a way for everyone to thrive while we are supporting the health of Canadians and the health of the globe, then I think we can do that. And I think that Canada should be role models for the rest of the world in healthy eating and also environmental sustainability. And this is a huge step in the right direction. I'm going to post down below all the links to where I got all the information. Please comment down below if you have any questions or concerns. At the end of the day, I'm proud to be Canadian. I'm proud about this new food guide, and I'm excited to work with people who this might not affect positively and change it to affect them positively. I think we can all work together to figure out a way that this food guide will benefit everyone who needs it. Okay. All in all, thrilled about the new food guide. That's pretty much it.